Alright guys, so we are back with another video here again on the channel. You can already see from the title what this video is going to be about, and in this video we're going to be discussing Jean Grey versus Freya, right? Marvel Rivals Overwatch Showdown, the series that we've been doing on this channel. Now, to start off, with the similarities between both of them are the newest heroes introduced in both games. They also have, they're also both redheads, and their abilities sort of work the same, not literally, but in the way of how they sort of have like a pseudo flight, like pseudo explosive abilities in a way. So that's like mainly the similarities that made me want to make this video in the first place. Now, when it comes to the rules are the same as to our previous showdown videos, which is that the characters are not really going to have knowledge specifically about each other's abilities, at least within the context of the matchup. And also, they're going to be in a map that favors both of their playstyles. So we're going to have them in a somewhat open map with a bit of cover and angles that they can both play off of. And also, we're not using any lore based assumptions here. Well, it's purely gameplay. So Overwatch characters are going to have their perks, right? And Rivals characters, they won't have team ups since this is a 1v1, but that's pretty much how it's going to go. So you can't really bring up any lore based assumption for these matchups. Now, moving on to their abilities, we're going to start off with Jean Grey, aka Phoenix, and we're going to work our way up from the primary fire all the way to the ultimate, right? So her primary fire, Cosmic Flame, is essentially just a hit scan weapon that does damage, and it also works with her passive as well, which applies a spark or a marker onto whatever thing that she hits, whether it be an enemy or like a summon or anything, right? And when she hits it 3 times, right, on the 3rd hit, it actually explodes and does AoE damage to enemies that are around as well. So that is her primary fire. Her other ability is her shift, which is her sort of like phase ability that she has that allows you to phase in really any direction as long as there's no like barrier or anything blocking your path. And it's it's a good reposition ability. It's on a relatively short cooldown. So there's that. The other ability she has is her flight ability that allows her to fly for a short period of time. There's also tech really where you can just phase in between the flights, and you can pretty much just fly like indefinitely as long as you don't do any damage. And that is just also something I wanted to bring up as well. But if you just stay in the flight mode though, it doesn't really last that long. The other ability she has finally is her ultimate, which pretty much just allows her to become CC immune and go up in the sky and drop this sort of homing missile on the enemy that does a crazy amount of damage. It destroys any like summons or any sort of like auxiliary like equipment in the area. Freya doesn't really have that, so it shouldn't really be that useful. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. It also heals her as well, so if she was like low or something and she pops this, lands it, she does get healed back to full health once the ultimate is done. So that is just something else I also want to point out. But now we're done with Jean Grey's abilities. We can move on to Freya. Now, moving on to Freya's abilities, she has her crossbow, which is her primary fire. And her primary fire, her left click shoots these arrows at her opponent that do a set amount of damage. She has 12 in the mag before she has to reload. Her alternate fire though allows her to charge up a shot that does explosive damage after hitting an enemy for a couple of seconds. It explodes and does extra damage. You can sort of combo it with the regular fire for more damage. Her other abilities are her I don't know the exact name of the cooldown, but it's one that allows her to fly vertically, and the other one allows her to fly sort of diagonally, if you want to call it that. But they essentially just allow her to have like aerial movement in general. That's why I sort of compared her to Phoenix again, because they can both sort of fly, like pseudo fly in a way at least. Her passive gives her the ability to slow down while she's in the air so that she can take more precise shots that allow her to better like aim at enemies that she's already hit or that she wants to hit. Moving on to her ultimate. Her ultimate is an ability that she gets rather quickly. It doesn't do that much, but essentially it snares enemies together for a couple seconds before exploding and doing a bunch of damage to them in an AoE fashion. And that's pretty much it for Freya. I'm pretty sure she has some perks that I have gone over. but none of them really make that much of a difference to this fight. So we're just gonna go ahead and move on to the actual battle analysis now. Alright, so now moving into how the fight would actually play out and would actually progress. I'm going to have the fight start off as at sort of a mid-range so that both characters can play to their strengths. So it's going to be mid-range, and there's going to be some cover that they can both bob and weave in and out of, right? So it's going to start off with them trading shots, obviously. Something to note, like I said again, was that Phoenix does have a passive regeneration with every 3 shots that she lands. So I think that's going to be something that's pretty useful here. You know, I see Freya, shooting the arrows, which she can spam, to be fair. Shooting the arrows, using her pseudo flight to sort of take angles, and Jean can do the same as well, using her shift and her flight form to sort of take angles as well. And they'll pretty much just be poking at each other. Where I think the advantage might start to come in for Jean, like I said, is that with every 3 shots she lands, she gets passive health regen. So at that point, it's not really gonna be it's really gonna be a race against time for Freya, because she needs to kill Jean fast enough before she lands another shot and just regens, right? Not to mention the fact that Jean also has her ability that triggers off like the explosions. Now it's not that it would do that much damage. Freya probably has enough ability to like mobility, I mean, to sort of work around it, but it's the fact that it sort of like stuns you for a second, and if Freya gets stunned there, then she might just get like headshotted, or at least would make her easier to get headshotted by Jean Grey. But what I think really is, again, the deciding factor in this fight, like a lot of the fights that we've been doing previously, is the ultimate clash. Right now, Freya does have a good ult, to be fair. I think they would sort of both be around the same HP by the time ults go off. But the reason why Jean would still just win that clash is because, again, her ult makes her CC immune, and it also makes her damage immune as well, and it also gives her back her full health. So it's just a load and load and load of abilities. Meanwhile, Freya's doesn't really do all that. It sort of CCs you by pulling you in and doing like the big explosion, which if you're a squishy, don't get me wrong, that's pretty much a guaranteed kill on you from her ult. But again, Phoenix is CC immune, and I'm pretty sure she's also damage immune. So that's just 2 levels of just saying no to everything that Freya can do, essentially, in that regard. And I think that's where the deciding factor for this fight comes in, with it being Phoenix. That might not be a shocker to everyone, but that's really my take on it. I can't even really say I like Freya like that, because she's been one of the less interesting characters to be added to Overwatch in a while, at least in my opinion. And I think things could I think they could play out differently in some scenarios if you run it like out of a number of times. Freya could definitely take it in a number of them, but Jean, with every ability that she has, is just more likely to take it out of a given amount of times, right? So that's where I think this comes in, with Jean Grey being the winner once and for all. And that's really it. You know, I know Marvel Rivals characters have been winning in pretty much all the videos I've been doing. But the next one I'll make, I'm not sure yet, but it's probably one that, you know, should be a little more balanced. I'm not going to spoil it or anything, but it's one that should be a little more balanced, and you can see it being a fair fight, at least on both sides, because this one definitely didn't feel as fair, but I've already given the reasons why I wanted to compare them both in the first place. But that's going to be it for this video. Like, subscribe. I'm slow on the uploads, but I'm definitely going to have more videos coming out and all that stuff. And if you want to play with me, my IGN is going to be in the description, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.